opinion. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to be together again. Oh my goodness. I have been working like gangbusters and can't wait to hear what everyone's been up to. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Hi. We've got Annie, we've got Lisa and Casey and all the folks. This is so good. So how is everyone? Hi, Chris. Hi, Casey and Hollis and oh, we got Victor Peru in the house. Hi, Victor. I love coming together with some old friends, and new friends, and I've missed everybody a lot. I have missed everybody. It's been an interesting slog solo for the last however many months. Interesting is a word. So yeah, so here's the deal for today. I brought us together. We can talk and have open chat. I do have some news and slides to share if we want to go through those. There's a lot of news. I thought we can maybe look at these as thought starters or conversation starters because that's always a good way to kind of get the conversation juices flowing. And hopefully lots of time at the end for just open checking in, successes, challenges, what kind of resources we all need because I'm feeling in desperate need for a lot of resources lately. Like five other versions of myself would be nice. When does that get to happen? Um, okay, well, let me anybody want to just do anything quick before I jump into, I mean, there's so much happening. Can't wait to get started. Anyone? Don't all just jump in at once. You guys are being like my undergrads.
Okay, I will just say I've
Okay.
missed you so much. So
Ah,
so it's much more than just one way. So
uh,
I miss the Fridays for sure. I miss
I
thanks,
echo that.
Kimberly. Oh, thanks,
And I
Mhm.
miss you
Lisa.
guys too.
Yeah.
Kimberly, you and I have not cconnected for
I
ages, and
know, too
everybody
long.
else. So it's like January went into a sinkhole, and yeah.
No, I kind of stepped away at December and like now it's like I'm slowly coming back and it's so hard. It's oh my gosh, you guys, your AI peace practice. If anybody's reading my
Mhm.
newsletter,
Mhm.
we need it. The research is showing that AI is making more work, not less. I think those of us that are working on the front lines are feeling that. I call it my AI mania. I've been talking about it for months and months now. It's real. I don't think it's a coincidence. My blood pressure started rising when AI started coming around. I mean, these things are real. They're taking hits on our health, and we just need to, we really need to be more diligent than ever about taking care of ourselves and realizing that we're human and slowing down and stepping away and taking bio breaks. And because I just find myself sometimes not doing that as often as I should be. So, woo! Okay, on that cheery note, let's get into some AI mania because we're here together. We might as well. So, if y'all noticed, Google just dropped a model today amongst all the other model drops that have been happening. So, I'm going to start today off where I think is a good place to start for us savvy advanced AI folks here, which is models. And the model landscape has gotten to be completely out of control in my view. It's crazy. But I thought this would be kind of an interesting place. So this was just so y'all know, I picked up this deck to edit, and it just so happened that I had this chart from August. Okay, so I just thought it'd be fun to compare how different the landscape is with our models. And links are in chat for those of you that want to follow along. All of the links to these tools are in chat for you. This is one of my favorite ones. So from in August, the top model was GPT-5. Remember good old GPT-5, anyone? And Sonnet, 4 point nothing, Sonnet down there is like all the way down. So, but today, here is our landscape. And actually, this landscape is from yesterday. And the reason I'm bringing this in is because literally I had to change the chart out today because Google dropped a new model, right? It's so insane how quickly this stuff is working. So this is the chart from yesterday. Claude is, I think, in its rightful spot up top there. I love Opus 4.6. Everybody loving Opus 4.6. I think it's the best model I've used to date. It's very, very good. And I have a creative writing bake-off in a little bit here where I tested all of the Claudes against chat for creative writing, and you guys can be the judge of the results yourself. But do I use Claude? Claude Opus, the only down thing is it's expensive. It burns through a shit ton of your credits. It's like it's an expensive model. It's one of the most expensive models. And so now in the era of paying for compute and AI, we have to be really mindful about how much we're using. I run out and it's a real thing now. And so do I use Claude Opus 4.6 for everything? No, I can't. I have to be very strategic about when I'm using it, but it is really, really good. So here's what happened overnight. Here's what happened overnight. Yesterday, Opus 4.6 was number one. Today, it's Gemini 3.1. Whee! It's so hard. I just need to like have comfort and community in the fact that it's so hard. I just to keep up. It's really tough. So I tested Gemini 3.1 today on our bake off and you'll see the results. But anyway, here we are. I wasn't sure what GLM5 was. Oh, here's something I want to share with y'all very quickly. I wanted to do a little show and tell. So if we jump over here, whoops, let me get to the right screen. Oh, that's not it either. Okay. How many of you are using Chrome AI? Anybody? So can everybody see my screen? I'm assuming you can. So here is the next leaderboard that I want to look at. Spoiler alert. So the two leaderboards that I think are important for marketers. Yes, that overall intelligence leaderboard is important. The other one that I love to go to is this one, the Texturina Creative Writing Leaderboard. So Gemini here in Chrome just launched. You can see it on the right. You can install it. I think it's available for pro members only for Gemini. But here's the deal. It's really good, you guys. It's like super good. You click on the Gemini button up here. It opens the thing. And so I was like, can you please tell me? Oh, yes. Is someone? Oh, hi, Billy Goldman. Goldman just jumped on. Hello, my friend. She's coming down to visit me in Eugene today.
Hello, hello.
Are you driving?
I am.
Oh my gosh, good. Do not get in an accident. Go on mute and pay attention to the road, please.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, Billy Goldman is my best friend, and she's coming down for the weekend. And this is another reason I'm very, very happy today because life is just brighter with my best friend in town. Okay, so anyways, many of you know Billy too. She's iconic, I think, to most of us. All right. Anyway, back to this. So creative writing is the other place that we pay attention, right? Here are the top creative writing models. We've got Opus 4.6 thinking right at the top, followed by Gemini, and others. This new Chrome thing is really cool. So I was like, well, which of these LLM leaderboards should I, as a content marketer, be paying attention about? It talked me through like real time. And this, I think information is incredibly valuable. Why we care about the creative writing subcategory. It basically told me exactly what my instinct was, that the creative writing subcategory is really important for these reasons for marketers to pay attention to. There's a couple of other leaderboards here that they're talking about cost versus performance, which is also important if we're trying to conserve our compute and scale some of these workflows and projects, right? We need to make sure we're benefiting that, having that cost benefit analysis using the right model, not the Ferrari model. Maybe it's more of a Honda model. So anyway, I'm so far very impressed. So this was the other. So I was like, what is GLM5? So GLM5 is another large language model that's in the top five for intelligence. And I was like, what the hell is that? I've never heard of it. So of course it breaks it down and tells me it is out of China. It's one of their flagship models now that I think was built maybe using DeepSeek anyway, it tells you all about it here. Yeah, efficiency. It integrates deep speak, sparse attention with some other fancy schmancy things, and tells you, what that model is. It tells me, yes, of course, the entire thing was developed in China. So I don't know. I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Google is probably going to be amongst the winners in this AI battle. They're kicking ass right now on so many levels. Although the one place that I will say they are not kicking ass is creative writing, and I'll show that in a moment. They definitely are not my go-to for that. Please feel free to stop
Lisa,
me. Yes, ask questions. Let's do it. Yeah. Hello.
I have a Gemini story from this
Oh,
week.
yes, Annie, tell us, tell us.
I was updating my LinkedIn profile and I was copying and pasting from a Word document into the About section. And it looked fine to me, but to everybody else and on the mobile app, it looked like a wall of text. So I went to Gemini and said, it reminded me of the old days when you couldn't copy and paste from a Word document into a WordPress site. And
God, we are dating ourselves.
I
But
know.
yeah, I remember that so well.
I went to Gemini, 5 different queries, and did everything they suggested, and it didn't work.
Wow.
So I went to Claude, and both Gemini and Claude said this is a big problem for LinkedIn. And so Claude said the number one way to fix it is to actually key your text into the mobile app, which is what I did, and it fixed everything.
Wow. See?
But this process went from, basically it should have been a 5-minute exercise to, 4.5 hours.
God, Annie. Oh, it's so painful.
Yeah.
It's so
So I don't know
painful.
what the problem is. It seems like that should be an easy thing for LinkedIn to fix, or maybe the new release of Gemini will fix it. I don't know.
Well, thanks for reporting back. I think we can all feel the pain there in terms of this, just we're in this weird phase of things where, again, back to making more work for us. Like everything feels like most of the things, this testing and experimenting takes longer until we get it to a place where it's not taking longer. It's like everything's very front loaded, trying to test and learn. And then eventually, if we get a nice, I have several workflows now that work great, but it took me a long time to kind of get them there. And even though they work great, they're still changing all the time.
But
Even
I have often thought about what you said about Google being the one to win the day because of the amount of information that they already have. So
Yes.
I've been deliberately using Gemini to see how much I can get out of it. I still don't think it's nearly as good as a writer, but I think that it's good enough for me to drop ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh, Annie, that's huge.
And if I have a follow-up question for Annie, this is Victor.
Victor.
Um,
Hi. Victor, we got Billy and
Hi, it's
Victor.
great to see everybody again. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
uh,
Quick question. Does anyone believe, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I have a question. When we hear
okay.
about problems with LinkedIn and other engines, can we remind ourselves that LinkedIn's owned by Microsoft, Microsoft's OpenAI, and they're all co-pilot all day long? Do we feel like there's
Mhm.
any sort of like industry resistance to take acceptance of these other engines? Because frankly, Google on one hand is losing customers because people aren't even Googling things anymore. They're going right to AI, Copilot being very popular, right?
Ugh.
And I just wonder if some of these integration issues are in top line because ultimately, at the end of the day, all these companies want to win. So does anyone else feel like they've come into other instances? If you really look at the camps of who
I
owns all
would
Yeah.
these engines,
I
are they
would
not
say
really
that
cost compatible?
Victor, I would say that's a good question. However, my original attempt was to copy and paste from a Word document, which is Microsoft, into my LinkedIn profile, which is owned by Microsoft.
Understood. That
Mm.
true. But the AI part of it, just like it just seems like there's always these little barriers that are unexpected.
Yeah,
And I
yes.
think it's very possible that they've put in
Yes.
some roadblocks.
I would say that they would be remiss if they didn't try to put in reasonable roadblocks. I mean, I think that it's not even a conspiracy there. I think that of course they would be doing that. I mean, to the point before it gets to be nefarious. I mean, I think, there are levels but yeah, I think is the answer. Um, Again, just there's this huge competition going on. It's like ridiculous. It's billions and billions of dollar competition, and we're all just sitting here victims to it, really, in a way, because our profession has decided to be one that's adopting this stuff faster than any other. And so here we are, all of us trying to survive in this on this battlefield. I really do feel that that's kind of where we all are. It's not an exaggeration. And there is some good news, though, coming out this week. And if you read my newsletter, this speaks to it. So this is research done by Anthropic showing where most of our agents are being deployed within their interface. You can see, of course, software engineering way, way out front at almost 50%. Got back office automation and then another category. And then marketing and copywriting is right there sitting at 4.4%, which isn't a huge amount right now. I mean, that I see that number and I'm like, oh, maybe there's still a little bit of life left in my old content creation bones after all. And the other good kind of thing that came out of this week before I had is this other study that they did that is a kind of feature study of my newsletter, which they took like 200 and some odd like contractor jobs right off of like a Fiverr, right? And many of these, if you read into the details of this report, most of them were content marketing focused. They were like, creating visuals, like ad spec. It was like just shit you toss to some Fiverr designer, like we need a comped image that does this, right? I mean, pretty simple stuff. And of the 200 and some odd projects, the percentage they tried it across all of the Premiere at that time models. The models have changed a bit, but only 2.5% of the time did they do client ready work. 2.5% of the time. The rest of the time they couldn't fucking do it. So as much as we're being told that, oh my God, everything's going agentic workflow and we're all going to lose our jobs, that's if you have a job that's doing multiple different tasks like we do, we talk to clients, we do a lot of things, and agents can't just do all that right now. So I do think we have a little bit more time than what the doom and gloomers are indicating and what the hype is saying, and that's all really good news for us. We do have time, and I think even if that idea just helps us sit back and calm down and try to be thoughtful, not frantically reacting and feeling overwhelmed, but really say, hey, okay, look, maybe I've got a 2-year window here. Wow, doesn't that feel good to think like, oh, maybe I have a 2-year window instead of a 6-week window? Because sometimes when the things come out, it's like, holy shit, I don't even have a week. But we actually do have more time. That's the takeaway from me. From now, the other thing that I'll say is this comes with a warning. Yes, right now, today, this is true. This won't always be true. So that's the other caveat, everyone. OpenClaw, anybody trying OpenClaw? Victor, anyone?
Nope.
Oh, no. Now, Ethan Mullock says not to, so I'm not even going to go into it. It's very dangerous. JB, what do you got? I see a
Oh,
hand up.
just playing around with getting basic setup. Not doing anything with it yet because I want to get those as much security around it as I can, but it will be totally isolated and it will have limited access to everything.
Yes, good, good. And I think that, are you buying? I've heard folks that are really serious about this are buying their own standalone like computers and stuff to run this on,
There
right?
was a run on
Yeah,
Mac
I
Minis.
happened to have one. Yeah, I
Oh,
happened to have one, and that's exactly where it will be because
um,
it needs to be kept in isolation until I can figure out exactly everything about how it works.
yeah, it's like a toddler we're keeping in the playpen for. It's like, and so, if you're not into playing with toddlers right now, I say don't go there. Wait until it gets to be a little older before we decide to mess around with it. Anyway, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I felt like I'd be remiss if I didn't at least talk about OpenClaw because it has been everywhere lately. Everyone, Ali Miller, everyone's writing about it. So I just thought I would put this in here. I am not. I am officially not. I don't have time and I'm not playing around with it. I will
There's
lean on
an
others.
there's an OpenClaw hackathon heading to Portland soon. I saw it advertised recently.
Nice, Victor. So yeah, it's
Who's
coming.
sponsoring that?
Let me
I'm
know,
gonna look for the
Victor.
link and try to share it, but I just saw it recently. I'm not into OpenClaw, but I just saw it show up my feed. OpenClaw Portland. I'm gonna find it and share it.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, thanks, Victor. That'd be awesome. A few articles that kept me busy this week. This I wrote one about your scope of work. So I told a little story about kind of this idea that freelance work, contractor work is going away. It's a nuanced, it's nuanced. That 2.5% success rate tells us that there is more to the story than just all freelancer contractor work going away. This is a really good post if you want to kind of deep dive. I know many of you often bring in questions about writing statements of work and proposals, and how do you, kind of position your work now in the age of AI. So here's some, the article contains a lot of, I would say, nice, concrete, practical ways that you can try to move away from 5 infographics for $5,000 toward having someone pay you for the knowledge and expertise you're bringing to the table, even when you use an AI tool to expedite the process. Um, I went down a rabbit hole on this, everyone, and here's where we're at. This is the amazing place that we are at right now. So I wrote that article, and at the end of my article, of course, working with Claude, and I think I was using Sonnet 4.6, it said, "Hey, why don't we build a tool that would allow folks to use these principles, and to help build out a statement of work?" And I was like, "Oh, that sounds fun. Sure, let's try that." So literally probably 30 minutes later, I have this tool, and this is the tool. This is a screenshot of the tool. This tool's pretty fun, you guys. You can be my beta testers. The link is in the chat to go try it. You have to have a Claude account. It is a published Claude artifact that I built with Opus. Now, here's the story. I started off trying to build it with Sonnet 4.6, and Sonnet couldn't do it, so I moved to Opus 4.6, took the chat, said, "Hey, can you?" And Opus 4.6 built it. You can take an existing statement of work. It'll walk you through a Q&A so that you can transform an existing statement of work into one that's going to be more future forward and more allow you to actually charge for some of the teacher work you're doing. You can also build one from scratch. And there are two things here. You can either build one that's about content creation or one that might be more around an agentic workflow. These are the types of things that I'm building for my clients. So I kind of selfishly made this tool for me. I've used it twice and it works beautifully, like really, really, really good, you guys. So give it a try. One little safety note, and it's on the landing page if you go and play with this. It uses Claude's safety protocols, right? Other folks that are using it aren't going to have access to anything that you put in, but Claude does. So best practice, you would want to probably, instead of saying the name of your client, you would want to say EdTech B2B software provider, and you may not want to give exact numbers. It depends on if you feel safe doing that. Claude is one of the safer models out there. If you have that paid version, you know that they're not training their model on your data. So, but that's just a best practice. Questions? I see Ellen has a hand up. Hi, Ellen.
Good to see you. Brilliant stuff, as always. You keep saying that there's links in the chat, but
Oh,
for
are you
people
guys not
who,
getting? Oh,
yeah, for
yes.
people who joined late, like myself, I was 5 minutes late. You might have put all
Yeah.
the links in the beginning.
Yes, thank you. I will put them in right now. Thanks for that call out. I apologize for those that were not getting those. There they go. There you go, my dear. Did somebody else? I heard somebody else unmute. Somebody else have a question or anything before we move on? Anyway, the tool's fun. Give it a try. In terms of the kind of the workflow for using this tool, it goes through the 5 or 6 questions and it produces the final output. I then take that output, I took it back to Opus, shared my branded SOW template, if you will. I put an example of how I wanted it branded, took copy and pasted the text in. Within 30 seconds, it had a complete, finished, branded, perfect document to go out. It's literally that fast. You don't even need to do the styling anymore. It's really amazing, actually, guys, really good. So have fun with that. But I think the key lesson here isn't even so much it's the fact that this took me 30 minutes is what is really impressive. 30 minutes. Okay. And it's kind of in a complex tool.
Can I jump in
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
briefly?
please.
Those things about focus on outcomes, somebody put in the chat, kind of like brand your solution, all those things. So as a member of Women in Consulting, I've been telling people those things for a long time. It's very exciting to hear them repeated. And it's also very exciting that people have tools to enable that for them to be more effective in creating that type of positioning.
Oh, thanks, Ellen. Yeah, well, we can make them now, and I think it's more important than ever in the age of AI when we can't be charging for outputs anymore. It just isn't going to be, it's not going to work for us. We'd have to make 1,000 infographics. I don't know, like it's just not, it's not going to work. Um, so the other thing that I did this week, everybody, I've been testing Sonnet versus Opus. I would love to. Anybody have thoughts on Sonnet versus Opus? Does anybody want to share? Has anybody been playing around with these two different models that Claude offers? Am I the only one?
You
Come
might
on.
be.
Oh, well, here's the deal. Okay, so I did a test for y'all, as I like to do. There's Sonnet. So Sonnet, just to give you some background, Sonnet is the way is Claude is pitching Sonnet as their everyday, use it for everyday things. I call it the Honda model, however you want to of their models. Opus is the Ferrari, right? So we've got the Ferrari, we've got the Honda. The Honda is cheaper, the Ferrari is more expensive. I wanted to give it a test and see, and I still love Sonnet 4.5. I tested, I love Sonnet 4.5. I actually loved Sonnet 4.0, right? And you can still have access to all these legacy models as well if you have that paid version. Anyway, I did the same prompt, same test, asked for concepts, and this was for a real world client project, everyone, where I needed some concepts for an infographic series that I was going to be creating for a client. And here's how they scored. And you can kind of see the breakdown of the number of concepts generated, the depth of the concepts, the context awareness, production readiness, creative range. And here's the thing, even though Opus scored the best and probably was the strongest, it wasn't the strongest in every category. Like 4.6 is still better at production readiness, and it looks like it's still better at lead gen thinking. These are things that my client cares about. So we're in a really weird spot where I don't think there's really any clear-cut path around which model to use. And this is why part of our work now as an AI marketing professional is being able to understand which model, which tool is going to get us the best output. And they aren't making it easy on us, right? So you can read more about in the article if you want to go down that road. Nano Banana, anyone? Yeah, like who is loving Nano Banana? It
All day
is
long, all day
off
long.
the chain cray cray. Right. This isn't even a great example of what Nano Banana can do, but I, created this with Nano Banana. Instant, flawless, your style, it's all true. I am in love with it. It changed the way I teach my students how to make infographics overnight. I've been having my undergrads do infographics for 5 years now. I had them do it this term, bespoke as they would have with before AI. They were allowed to use AI to help them do research and ideate and stuff, but they couldn't use it to generate the full thing. And for our final project, I'm going to have them create an article and then they're going to be using Nano Banana to create the infographic just to give them and compare. Like the outputs I can guarantee you are going to be better with Nano, and it'll take 5 seconds versus, some of them probably spent 10 hours on their own infographic. That is an incredible time savings that you can't even, right? I mean, you can't even quantify that. It's crazy.
And Lisa,
Um,
So
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
are you
before you
finding
go
that?
off of that, I've
Oh,
got something to say.
oh, sorry, Joanna, and then Lisa. Go ahead, Joanna.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been using a mix of Notebook or not Notebook LM. Is it Notebook LM?
Yes.
Yeah,
If you're,
Notebook LM. I'm putting my info in there, having it do an infographic with my style direction. And then I'm taking that infographic, putting it in Nano Banana and making adjustments there.
yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds like an awesome workflow, Joanna. Lisa, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. So I used Nano to create an infographic, and it still got a couple of the text pieces incorrect. And I'm just curious, like, it looks like you're having much better sort of success with creating and fewer errors.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's my workflow, Lisa, to fix that because it's true. I'll typically start with my Claude for meta prompting. I will give Claude kind of here's what I want to do. Here's the infographic I'm hoping to create. Maybe I have a, if it's a whatever it is. That's so. For example, for this one, well, I should do. Here's the way I've been using it. I've been using it for my class for my undergrads. I'm teaching them really complicated how to move from like insight to strategy stuff. And so I've been
Yeah.
making a series of really complicated infographics that help teach them how to do that. And the text, there's a lot of text and it needs to be right. So anyway, I'll take my learning materials, I take it to Claude, I'm like, Claude, I need to make an infographic of this thing to help explain to my undergrads, blah, blah, blah. I need a prompt for Nano Banana, blah, blah, blah. I also will train, here's the other thing I do, I will train Claude on the latest capabilities of Nano Banana because Claude's training data doesn't include that, right? So I will share like an article like this one, for example, the style progression of a notebook LM infographic. I'll take this article and share it with Claude so that it can understand the latest capabilities of the tool. I think that helps. Then it writes my beautiful meta prompt for Nano. I take that to Nano Banana. I generate the thing. If it looks good at first sight, I download it, take it back to Claude and ask Claude, hey, Claude, did it nail it? Claude picks out all the typos. Oh, it almost did, but it got this word wrong. It got this word wrong. Let's run it again. Perfect. I run it again, bring it back into Claude. Oh, it's perfect this time. I don't even have to friggin' do the copy editing part of it. Claude does it perfectly. So yeah, sometimes it'll take a couple runs. I'll say for me, honestly, though, about 85% of the time, there are zero errors. Maybe even closer to 90% of the time, there are zero errors, but there is that 10% of the time where I'll have to run it again to get the typos out.
Okay, can I ask you a silly question? So
No.
when I've done this before, and I rerun it, it runs it in a different version. Like I get something different.
Hmm.
How do you iterate on it? Like,
Well, for me, there's a couple of secrets. I don't know if it's secrets, but so if you're using, so I go into Gemini, I make sure that you have to have image clicked and then you have to have thinking on. So image thinking on gets you into the Nano Banana interface that you can, and then I can iterate. So click on create image, make sure thinking is turned on, and that should get you to Nano Banana.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Another tip, if you get something that's close to what you want, but there's just some text errors, save it, reintroduce it into a new chat as a source, and then start making changes from there. Like save your work, reiterate with your mistakes. So you get a really good style. I just did this for a client. It's for a bowling game. Everything was cool. Some of the text was off, but I loved everything it laid out. Saved it and then specifically targeted, hey, change box number 3 to this text, and just start working with like anything good, save, anything bad, dismiss. But I
Great.
have not found a tool yet that does this all perfectly from start to finish. So you have to get a little clever. One other tool I want to recommend, you.com, you.com. You can actually pick which engine you use, whether it's Llama, Meta, ChatGPT, all with this. It's 15 bucks a month instead of 20. I use it for almost every day, and I want to give credit to our dear Lisa. Lisa changed my life 2 years ago, and she doesn't even know it. She taught us the lesson about, and rather than me becoming this aspiring prompt engineer, which got me all excited, I use AI to write all my prompts for every single task. And as a result, I've gotten a buttload of customers and clients that are coming to me for AI videos and all kinds of stuff. But my partner are all these engines to write the prompts for the various engines I'm targeting. So people say, oh, I'm a prompt engineer. No, we're never going to be as good as the AI to be prompt engineering. But if you know what you want and you discuss it and, with your engines or whatever, let the engines do your prompts. That's my secret sauce. And Lisa, thank you
Yay.
so much. But you.com, a lot of people don't know about it. you.com. You can upload documents, links, web material. You can train it. You can take up your own sources. And frankly, to be honest with you, the cheap guy in me, for 15 bucks a month, it's $5 less, but I have access to all the engines. And
Yeah,
normally I
yeah.
just use Auto. It decides the type of project you're doing and it picks the engine for you. So if you haven't checked it out, there's a free version, but I really recommend you.com, you.com.
Well, thanks, Victor, so much for the suggestion, and thank you so much for the kind words. I'm happy that you found something I provided valuable. I appreciate that, and I'm teaching all my undergrads meta prompting, and I think it's probably a key skill for them too. So I think it's something I still teach that's really important for all of us. So yay! So all right, let's quickly go through a bake-off, and then we're going to open it up. Okay, guys. So for bake-off, I did text because we just got a new text model. New models have been dropping like hotcakes. I've got a first round and I've got a final round. Here's what I want y'all. Here's your homework assignment, everyone, for like not even homework for like right now. I'm going to read through the one-liners that we got, and I want you to pick your favorite, okay? And I want y'all to kind of tell me which is your favorite. All right. So pay attention, and I'm trying to go a little fast, but same prompt, different models, and here we go. And I picked the top 5 creative writing models listed on our leaderboard. So here's the prompt. You're an expert marketing copywriter. Write a single one-liner, one sentence, no more than 20 words for StackPlane, a fictional B2B data migration platform. The line should make the reader feel nostalgia. Do not explain your reasoning, just write the line. Okay, so that prompt went into all of our tools, and here's what we got. So number 1. Remember when moving day meant cardboard boxes and pizza? StackPlane makes migrating your data feel just as simple. Option number 2, StackPlane, modern migration with the same simple, reliable spirit of the tools you first fell in love with. Okay. Option number 3, StackPlane makes enterprise data migration as seamless and comforting as pressing play on your favorite childhood mixtape. Option 4, remember when moving your data felt as simple as dragging a folder across the desktop? It does again. Next up, remember when moving data felt like progress, not punishment? Next up, remember when moving your data felt as simple as dragging a file to the desktop? And here's our last one. StackPlane brings your data home like the gentle whir of a tape drive after hours. All right, all. So there you have it. This was our bake-off number 1. So I have a clear favorite, a clear winner. I'm curious what y'all think. Do you want me to just run through them one more time, or y'all good? All right, we'll run through them one more time. Okay, so option number 1. Remember when moving day meant cardboard boxes and pizza? StackPlane makes migrating your data feel just as simple. StackPlane, modern migration with the same simple, reliable spirit of the tools you first fell in love with. StackPlane makes enterprise data migration as seamless and comforting as pressing play on your favorite childhood mixtape. Remember when moving your data felt as simple as dragging a folder across the desktop? It does again. Remember when moving data felt like progress, not punishment? Remember when moving your data felt as simple as dragging a file to the desktop? StackPlane brings your data home like the gentle whir of a tape drive after hours. All right. So those are the options. How many of you, and I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know. Let's see. I feel like I need to see y'all. Okay, let's just start. So maybe we do a raise of hands. How many of you think, and we'll work backwards. How many of you like this one best? Anyone? Maybe just unmute. How about if y'all could just unmute and just say, yes, you liked it. That would be. Anybody like this one best? No wrong or right answers, everybody. Okay, I see a hand raised from Ellen. I can't see everybody's, and
Yeah,
some of
that
you
one
aren't.
makes me feel like my feet are on the desk and I got a glass of wine in my hand and everything's done.
Okay, yeah, good. We want you to feel something, obviously. So, okay, so, let's go backwards. How about, oops, if I can get back to sorry, everybody. Uh, sorry, it's my deck has just decided to go AWOL. Shoot, you guys, give me a second. I've got to get my deck back open. I guess let me ask this: which one stands out? Like maybe I don't even. Which one of you stands out of the? Can anybody just remember their favorites, like off the top of their head?
I like the 4.6s.
The Opus 4.6s.
Pizza boxes.
Opus
The pizza
4.6
boxes.
and 4.6.
Yeah, I liked pizza number 1 and the
Yeah.
dragging the desktop number
Yeah.
2.
Me
I
too.
like the drag the
Thank you.
desktop too.
Mhm. I like the simplicity of the desktop. It was just like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the desktop definitely works for me. Although I like the one where it says it does again. I know that's technically a cheat on the prompt, which called for one sentence. But I thought that was a nice close for that
Okay,
message. That was clear and away my favorite.
Okay. So I'm hearing several of you said that you liked this first, the pizza boxes, right? And I think some of you said, remembering when moving data meant cardboard boxes, pizza stack, plain mix, migrating your data fields. How many of you thought this was your favorite?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Okay.
Yes.
One distinct
Yeah.
reason
I feel
it
like
kind of crosses a bunch of generations. The tape drive and some of this other stuff, it was for a younger crowd. I don't even know what tape drives are. This one has a little more of a global appeal across the generations.
Except
Yeah.
that there's a lot
but
of
it
heavy
doesn't feel
lifting.
simple.
Moving day has a
Yeah.
lot of heavy lifting. It's not
Yeah, I was
simple.
gonna
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
not
So the
moving's
simple.
metaphor
not
doesn't work for
simple.
me here.
Oh gosh.
This would be
Okay.
simple if someone
Well,
else was doing all that for you. Then that would
It's
be
not simple
simple. But
either
if
because
you
they
were the
break
one
your
doing
furniture.
it, it's not simple.
As per usual, there are a million chefs in the kitchen today, and it's fine that maybe if there's no clear winner. Just full transparency, I think this was my favorite. I thought this one was so strong, was memorable. Um, Modern migration. I didn't care for this one. I didn't care for this one very much. I didn't really care for the childhood mixtape one very much either. I thought it was forced. It just went a little. It just forced it a little bit too much. Like really, data migration and childhood mixtapes is. I didn't feel that. Remember when moving your data that felt as simple as dragging a folder across the desktop? Chris, was this your favorite?
This was my favorite.
It does again. Okay, we got another Opus shout out for Opus
I like this
4.6.
one too.
This is
I
my
like this
favorite
one
too.
too.
Okay,
This is my
I
second
like it.
favorite.
Second
okay.
favorite for me.
Second favorite. Okay, good. Um, remember when moving data felt like progress? I hated this one. I literally hated
I
this
don't like
one.
that one. Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't want my brand being associated with punishment ever. Like, I don't like that one at
No.
all. I remember when moving your fetus, and that one I didn't even really understand that one. I don't know that one. I didn't really like that one that much. And I have to say, good old, chat GPT here. I thought this one was good. I mean, to your point, Ellen, it definitely created some emotion for me. I mean, it maybe isn't as strong in my mind as the pizza boxes, but I thought that it did it. And by the way, everyone, I just want to point out, chat GPT 5.2 is not even in the top 10 for creative writing anymore. Not even in the top 10. I brought it in here because I had to, because everyone's using it. That's the only reason it's here. So if I'm hearing everyone, I think we kind of generally can say that maybe Opus was some of the. So I went ahead and I wanted to do one more. I did one more final round just with our favorite, just with my selfishly, but I think we're kind of aligned on the favorites. Before I get into the final round, I want to say this. This is a really important lesson for everybody. So here's what happened. I ran all of those. I took them into Opus 4.6, which was of course helping me with the test and helping me with the prompts and such. And I was like, hey, can you analyze the results? And it did. And it picked like my least favorite. It didn't even pick my favorite. It picked one that I thought was shit. And then I put in like, that's not my favorite. I totally disagree with your analysis. And it came back like, oh, you make a, as it does, you make a good point. But here's the deal. And it does make a good point that sometimes if you're getting AI to try and be the judge of creative outputs, it might be looking through a lens different than the lens that you want. And for Opus kind of astutely made this observation about AI tools, including the one that was analyzing my bake-off, systematically favor polish and efficiency over emotional resonance and surprise. Sometimes that is their default, right? So that's what happened. It didn't prioritize the human element. And this again, you guys, is why we're so important. I should do a whole blog post on this exact point because this is how humanness gets baked right out of our marketing content today, right? Oh my gosh. And so it's like what the AI picked versus what the human picked, and how you just need to be very mindful when you're using AI to evaluate creative work because it's not going to always get the human element in there. One final thing I want to share about this slide, which I found to be very impressive. I went in, 4.6 gave me this amazing insight that I just shared with you all. And then I said, hey, can you create one slide that would, share this insight? 30 seconds later, it came back with a finished PPT slide designed. Just that it literally made this slide. I no longer had to add it. I didn't have to add any design. It made the PowerPoint slide for me that actually worked. I was able to download it as a PowerPoint, and this is exactly what it made. Fucking impressive in my view, right? We know that that has been a hurdle in past where like Claude cannot design shit. Well, guess what? Claude is now getting to a place where it does not a bad job. right? This isn't maybe, award winning, but it's good enough. And it saved me a good, 5 minutes of trying to design the slide myself, which when you're doing a
Fantastic.
100 slide deck is a lot of time, right?
Yeah. So Lisa, if I could
Yeah,
say really quick, in
please,
talking about
Chris.
missing the human element. Because we're a Microsoft campus, I will usually do my first drafts in Copilot. And it has what GPT used to have 6 months or a year ago. It's again, it's the polished, it's very professional, it's very efficient, it uses the rule of three exhaustively, and it doesn't really sound human. So I had was working with some ad copy, and I took the first draft out of Copilot, and I went to my own GPT, which is actually my writing twin that I created last year. And I said, this hits all the points, but it's too polished, it's too marketing. I said, we need to ground it, and we need to make it Midwest nice. And the GPT actually understood what I was talking about with
Of
Midwest
course.
nice,
Wow, love that.
and came up with much more grounded content, sounded much more natural, much more human, had more of the emotion into it, as opposed to what Copilot gave me, which was a lot more just polished marketing speak.
Oh, I love that example, Chris. I think we all need to be doing that. I mean, that at this point, I think we're well past the point of taking uh, unfiltered, generic, even with context. If writing that has not been, you know, AI models that have not been given explicit instructions on style cannot exist in our content these days. Like we do have to give the model direction on what we want this to sound like in some fashion. Whether that is in the form of a custom GPT like you used, Chris, or whether that's in the form of sharing the brand style guide or whatever form that takes. And there are myriad forms. People are creating full-on AI assistants that do the job. But we have to, or I think that we're not doing our job appropriately if we don't. And this is why, sadly, so many people are talking about AI slop, is because there are teams of people out there that just take the outputs very much like my undergrads who they unfortunately don't know exactly how to do the things that we do, and so they too just copy and paste that generic bulleted list, and I can tell a mile away that what it is, because they just don't know how to get anything different.
Yeah, I
But we
tell that to my students all the time, and I tell them I can spot it, and they're not fooling anybody, and most of them believe me, and a few of them don't. I have to find out the hard way.
So, Chris, I've had a similar experience, although what I say is speak more Southern.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Bless
Yeah,
your
because
heart, Annie.
I'm from the South. So, and what that translates into is there's more kind words in what it spits back out.
Hmm.
So that correlates directly with your Midwest nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
I,
fact that the model could accurately interpret that instruction and give you something that matched it was impressive to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've just got a few more slides and then I'm going to open it up. I just want to get, so I just did a final round. I had another prompt here, an expert marketing copywriter, write a single one-liner for Desktop, a fictional hybrid workplace scheduling tool. The line should make the reader feel a sense of belonging, not to explain you're using this. So this is a different tasks, but here we go. I'll just go through 4.6. Your team isn't a place. It's every place you show up together, and Desktop, make sure you do. 4.6 fast. Finally, a workspace where every team member has a seat at the table, no matter where they're sitting.
Mm.
Sonnet, your team's here, your desk is ready. Desktop makes every day feel like coming home. Oh. Sonnet fast. Your team's here, your desk is ready. Desktop makes every day. Oops, that's the same one. That was my bad, I think. And then 5.2 for ChatGPT. Desktop brings your people together, so every day in the office feels like you belong. Sorry, this is a duplicate, but and just to note, we are like getting different results between fast and thinking. I don't know how are you guys dealing with the fast versus extended? And the pretty big difference here with Opus, which the Opus extended is the thinking model versus the fast model. As I was testing this out, I did find that sometimes the fast model for a one-liner like this to be truly creative, sometimes the
Mhm.
fast model was better than the thinking model. So again, there's just no easy answers, y'all. And that's the, kind of the end of the thing. That's the end of my deck. So let me stop sharing and um, As usual, it always takes longer than I think it's going to. Whew. Um, so yeah, please, someone share thoughts, challenges, successes. How are we charging for this stuff? How are we using this stuff?
That's my biggest struggle. SOWs and struggling to charge people. I explain to clients, unlike video production, which is my background, I don't have precision over this stuff. I mean, I literally am not having my camera on right now because I'm so embarrassed what my office looks like. I've been up for 5 days trying to complete a project, which I know the
Victor,
tools can do, but I just don't have a way to look at the customer in the eye and go, I can do this in a week or I can do this in a month. And I'm not trying to screw anybody over. It's just like there's not enough tokens and I can't type as fast as I want to. I have 4 computers working to try to get results. And sometimes I hit it out of the park and people are like amazed. And other people are like, why is it taking so long? Like, you have no idea. It's so amazing what it can do and then little stuff. I don't want to go into all my points of pain, but I am curious, how are people charging for this stuff? Because it can't just be time and material anymore.
mm,
I like Lisa's approach of, when you showed the SOW tool that you had and kind of like charging for the thinking, because to me, like when you go down the rabbit hole of charging for eaches, it just becomes really hard to justify. And so the SOWs I've been putting together really have followed kind of the same format that you have, Lisa. And I find that it kind of doesn't back me into, quantities and such, and it's a little bit more defensible. But I mean, it is tough. It's hard to do.
yeah. I'm just trying to just pull up a demo. It is, and here's the other thing I'll say, Victor, we're all still just learning. I ran through an exercise with a client. I was just going to show a demo of the tool. So Victor, use the tool. I think short story is try using my tool because I think it's going to really help you. It has a pricing component to it that can help you with pricing. I found that to be really helpful, especially when I was trying to work. I'm working with a client on an agentic workflow, and it's like you've got this outcome of like, okay, I'm building an AI career coach kind of a thing, and there's like this whole like 12. Anyway, it's a very complicated workflow, and he's just seeing the one little tiny output at the end that looks like anybody could do it, and it's like, oh, but you've missed all this stuff to get this thing to do this thing. And the statement of work builder really did an amazing job at taking my one line statement of work. I'm going to build you an AI enabled career coach to like 3 pages of like all the things. And because I don't even know how to speak the language, right? It's like I don't know how to speak the language of all the things, but the tool does, and it definitely made it much more the other thing that it did, Victor, and everyone, is it knew it had the knowledge of knowing when to build in like revisions and evaluations and all these things that take a lot more time than we might have thought. To your point, Victor, so I'm doing an infographic thing where, yeah, I'm going to be using Nano Banana for infographics. Nano Banana could nail the infographic on the first go, or it could literally be 50 goes, like, or never, for that matter,
Those are
if
the
we're going to
best
be
days when it's
right.
the first go because you
I
charge
know.
by. So I try to get all these subscriptions across all these tools for like the we all know the yearly subscriptions are more enticing than the monthly subscriptions, but depending on the client, I'm not buying into a tool for a year subscription, so I'll just pass it off to the client. It's still a fraction of what it costs to do other stuff. But
Yeah.
why God, Google. I mean, I must buy 50,000 tokens every other day. And their
Wow.
unlimited plan isn't really unlimited because you can only make 5 videos a day with the pro plan. So it's just such a gamble, but it's fun, and I can't imagine doing anything else these days. And I will say this to everybody: frustrations aside, we are definitely in the minority of marketers that are embracing these tools. I'm
Wow.
continually shocked how many people are like, no, I don't want to use AI. See you in a couple of years.
Mhm.
You're not going to be able to keep up if you don't find a way to embrace these tools into our workflow, even with the flaws.
Yeah, I obviously agree, Victor. Ellen, I see you very kindly have your hand up.
Sometimes polite,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So I've been figuring out or working to price things, I've been consulting for 20 years. And what I find is, again, it's really what value am I delivering? I have kind of a baseline. I say, I think this is going to take me 20 hours. build in some review, build in whatever else. Let's estimate it. I don't tell the client the hours. I might tell them a date of delivery, but I don't tell them it's going to take me 20 hours, 30 hours, whatever. I just say I'll have it for you in 2 weeks. But I also talk about the dependencies of this includes 2 review cycles, and I expect reviews back in 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever is appropriate for your review cycles, and all that gets built in. And then you have to understand the value of what you're doing for the client. It's not necessarily, oh, I can do this faster. That means I can charge less to the client, because you're still bringing your knowledge, and your knowledge, as Lisa demonstrates when she talks about the role of the human being in it, your knowledge is what really brings it home, right? It's not like, okay, blam, blam, there, here it is, throw it over the wall. That's not how this works. This is, okay, I've got a result. The result needs to be refined. It's my human understanding and the depth of my experience that helps me refine this to the final thing. So think about the value you're delivering. What would it cost the customer if they didn't do this? What would they lose? And cover your costs. Yeah, know your costs. If you have a monthly spend of $500, I wouldn't
I wish it
necessarily.
were $500. I wish.
Well, okay, fine. I'm just using numbers as examples.
My
If you have a monthly
gosh.
spend of $5,000,
Oh, it's too much.
add some overhead. Add a simple multiplier overhead for all your clients, and then if you didn't cover your monthly spend this month, up your overhead.
Thanks,
Iterate.
Ellen. So before I know we're at an hour, I can stay longer. I always want to try to be mindful of time. But before people start jumping, you guys, I really want to hear what resources you all need. I have been in learning mode. I've been taking a lot of in the weeds courses on how to build very complex agentic workflows. There's a lot there. It's very deep. I, I have a list of things that I wish that I had access to. What resources, as content marketers, AI resources specifically, do you want? I mean, doing a monthly meetup like this is very easy, and I would love to do that. We can kind of check the box. I'm happy to try and have a monthly meetup, but I feel like I need more robust things like. And I don't know what they are, but like maybe if y'all wanted to share your thoughts on, what you need, what you might actually be willing to pay for, right? I know we're paying for a lot of things, but what would provide value? My sense, I've been taking a lot of Maven courses. I've been keeping track of a lot of the Maven teachers. It's really hard to create a Maven. Even things are moving so fast that even creating a Maven course, which can be very quick to do, it's still like I'm in a course now. They're running back-to-back cohorts, and literally the cohort from last month is like 100% different than the cohort that's running now. That's how quickly it's changing. It's so crazy that I think that this model of creating these Maven courses for me just doesn't feel sustainable. It doesn't feel like it's working for the pace of the industry. So I'm trying to come up with learning resources that can keep pace, and I don't know what that is.
I'd like to see an agentic course. I did sign up for the course with Sarah and Tyler, but it was only because you didn't have anything. I mean, my preference is always to learn from you because I think you're amazing. But I signed up for it by default, so I'd be
Thanks,
willing to
Lisa.
pay for agentic. I get it. I get how to think about the workflows, but it's always helpful for me to actually kind of, have a little bit of feedback along the way and walk through it. So that's my 2 cents.
Mhm.
Thanks, Lisa. Anyone else? Who
I
else
would
wants
I
to?
would second that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when we would walk through different platforms together and would actually do exercises, and I was a little surprised that I was able to keep up as well as I was. Um, so that I thought that was incredibly helpful to do it as a group.
It is. It is incredible. I mean, we need to have, I would say it's not even helpful. It's a necessity. I think like I have to have my group. Um, it's so important and having an active community of people and having people in the community that are better than you. I mean, we how many times have we heard it? You want to be around people that are better than you so that you can learn. This course that I'm taking now with it's a Maven course. There are a lot of people in the room that they're not they're I'm not going to go as far to say that they're better at content marketing than I am, but they're way better at building workflows than I am. And that's it's like how do we move from this, it's one agentic course that's covering all the use cases where you're learning deep in the weeds how to build like 12 like not just 12 steps, but 12 different assistants at like 12 different crazy Anyway, it's deep, y'all. It's like it's really, really, really hard. I'm just gonna be honest. But how do you take that and now make it vertical specific for marketing? That's the piece that we're just not quite there yet. And I think, maybe I can bring some value there and take this and turn it into more our marketing use cases and our tools. But here's the thing, even as I'm talking about it, like the last advanced course that I taught, and it was as fly by the seat of the pants as I could make it. It was like nothing pre-recorded. You're going to come in, we're going to literally do. Even that was super, super hard from just a kind of a timing and making sure that the content was relevant. I don't know. I know we're all sick of monthly subscriptions, but I do feel that there might be value in like, could I get access to a smart, awesome community? That's important, active, right? Number one. And number two, a set of tools that are updated regularly that help me do these really hard things. And I don't know what that looks like exactly, but maybe it looks a little bit like my statement of work builder, like, right? Maybe someone is making these awesome tools that you're using the best models in smart ways that are helping us. Maybe it's helping us build our workflows for our clients. Maybe it's helping us create I don't know what that is exactly, but without an ongoing model, it's like that, whatever investment you make, and we all know when you create a course, there's a lot of upfront time to go into making that course. And if you need to sell it multiple times to have it even pay itself off, that ain't working. Like I can literally run a course once and then it's done. And so it just doesn't, from a time and commitment, it doesn't pencil really. And I would have to charge y'all like a lot. And the going rate right now for courses, like to be very transparent, I'm in this Maven course. It's a month-long course. They've given me like free redo. They've given me redo so that I can now take it for 3 months because it changes every single time. And so the third month is so different from the first month. They've been gracious enough. And it was only $600, right? $600 for 3 months worth of education, community, learning, and there's a lot of content. So, that's not paying my bills. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just unless you have like 5,000 people, and they do. And the thing is this AI. And I'm talking about the AI Build Lab. Everybody, you can go find it on Maven. It's again, do I recommend it for everybody? No. It is. You are in the weeds. Like the only way that I feel like I'm being successful is because I used to build websites and I understand the general principle of testing and building and debugging. If you don't understand that, I think you're going to have a very difficult time in a course like that, right?
I also think that some of these, the beauty of, the community and the courses that you offer, sorry to interrupt, but are very much more specific to the work that we do. And I think it's tough because, I did sign up for one of the courses from Sarah and Tyler for next month, but I'm going to be interested to see, how applicable it is to the work that I do. So the last thing I think that I personally want to do is to jump into something where I'm learning a bunch of stuff, which is great, but it's not super relevant or easy to transfer. So I think, if you could sort of take that piece from, the learnings and put it into agentic so we could kind of see, okay, what does that workflow look like and how do we put it together? Like even a simple workflow would be awesome. Because I think we all kind of ideally understand how the stuff works. I just need to figure out like how to do it and then implement it and use it in my world.
And I would add to that, Lisa, that I think a big part of the attraction for us, for you, is that I think of you as like being on the bleeding edge of AI for marketing. And so you're out there, you're sort of our fearless leader, and you take everything that's happening out there and you distill it for content creation and marketing. And that's what makes it so valuable to me.
Nice. Thanks, Annie. I
And the
appreciate
other
that.
thing is that some of the basic processes, I mean, once we get what the basics are, we know that these uh, engines are going to continue to refine themselves and get better and better. And then it's just a question of uh, do I need to try something new or just keep up with the ones that are already serving me well?
I'd like to add something to that,
Okay.
which is a little adjacent, which is as I'm going through this, and one of the things we're working on is a fairly robust agentic workflow for agentic platform for a client, which has been interesting. But I think one of the things I'm coming away with is to know when to just stop. And it's a work in progress for me, and say, I need to go hire somebody. And, or that this isn't a knuckle hole I should go down. There are other people that you can bring in, or something. That one of the things I am somewhat overwhelmed with at times, and maybe it's just me, is you could learn to death. And if I go back X amount of years, I didn't do that, and my learning gets in the way of getting the client work done, and getting, your billings and things like that. So just what I've been trying to do is keep an eye on that, to know, no, okay, stop. I'm going to get someone who can do this better, versus like another tool. I feel like I've become a tool addict.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes any sense, but
no,
It does. Don't discount what you said.
yeah.
it's just,
Lisa, I just
Lisa,
want to know that, as you mentioned, you have enrolled for the agentic AI program. On which platform it is, and what are your thoughts on, like, is it really worth it to pay $600?
for me,
I'm asking for Lisa.
yeah.
Oh, hi, Salma.
Actually
So,
enrolled for the program. Yeah.
yeah. So, could you give me more context for your question so that I can answer it effectively?
Sure. I'm just asking you that, as you mentioned that you have paid $600
Oh,
for
yes, for the
the
course.
agentic AI, yeah, for the course. Like,
Hmm.
as you already in a cohort, do you feel that it's really worth it to, pay $600 for the agentic AI program, or we need to wait a little bit so that, it's already in process of getting explored with, because you have n number of agentic AIs. So do you think we have to wait for some time to get enrolled in some program which is much cheaper, or is it worth it to pay $600?
Yeah, so you're asking like the $1 million question, and it's a really good one. And I have a few, I'm of two minds of it, to be honest. And I think this is, I'm at a, I feel like many of us maybe are at a little bit of a career crossroads right now. We're kind of at this place where we've got to make some decisions. And so, um, first question, is the course worth the 600? Yes, it is worth much more than the 600. They have given me so much value add that I don't even know. Again, they have hundreds and hundreds of students. That's the only way they're making money off of this, because of the time commitment and the amount of content that they are sharing. I think, Jess JB is also in the course. Lisa signed up for the course so they can. I mean, so the answer is yes, it is worth the 600. But here's the question: the better question, though, is not the value they're providing, but is the skills that they're teaching me in this $600 course the right skills for me to have 6 months from now? I don't know. And the more I get down the weeds of trying to struggle through, and it's really fucking hard, you guys. And then when I say it's hard, it is, I mean it, it's hard. The more I'm like, God, I don't think this is worth it. Like, I don't like really like a good analogy from, if anybody remembers, I'm dating myself. Does anybody remember having to build a Flash website? Like, does anybody remember, like, so websites, you started off with HTML, you use tables to build websites, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
Flash was the thing. You're like, holy shit, now I have to try to build a website using Flash. Well, Flash websites and building Flash websites was really fucking hard. And I learned how to do it, but it was hard as hell. And the Flash website craze that took me so long was like 6 months. And then all of a sudden, oh, search engines can't read Flash, so now nobody wants a Flash website anymore. And I invested all that time. I think I probably even took a Flash course, and you had to take a full, 6 month course to even learn how to do it. And then I didn't need it anymore. I feel like we're having that moment right now where it's like, oh my God, because I'll tell you, from the first iteration, I started this course in their what was it, January, February, in their January cohort. I started in January cohort. Now and then there was a February cohort, and now we're heading into our March cohort. These are the three cohorts back to back, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. The first January cohort and now to now, which is, what is that, like 6 weeks? It's all different. Like, they have built different frameworks, and because now in January, I'm sorry, I'm getting excited, but it is exciting. In January, Cassidy, to answer your question, Salman, about so they're using Cassidy as their workflow framework tool that's bringing this all together. It's a very robust tool. And they started off using Cassidy. So in January, they're teaching you how to do Cassidy. You're doing a lot of of course, your meta prompting. They have, da 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 da. But now, fast forward to like halfway through January, Cassidy now has its own co-pilot all of a sudden that now can build all half of this shit for you that you were just learning how to build yourself 3 weeks ago. See what I'm saying?
Understood.
And this is the problem because now, and it's just going to keep getting better and better and better so at some point, like writing my own user prompts, which took me the longest of anything of the workflow or writing these damn user prompts, I probably spend 10 hours. And in AI time, that's a lifetime, 10 hours. And that's using like 3
Yeah.
different AI models to help me. Okay. That's not just me. That's like using all the AI tools fucking 10 hours. And now all of a sudden, I don't even need to do that anymore. So we're at that place. And so to your point, here's the pros and cons of it. The skills I might be learning now may be outdated in 6 weeks. However, I'm still learning some foundational stuff that will translate. In my view, it's better for me to have spent the 600, even if I'm spinning my wheels, because I'll be better positioned when those tools you know, evolve and get better. I'll have the foundation. If I just sat around for the next 2 months and I don't feel I'd be as well equipped to know kind of that history and that evolution. And I think that there's education there. I don't know. What do others think?
I think that's
That totally
absolutely
makes
right.
sense. Yeah. Please go.
No, go ahead.
Agree with Lisa as she mentioned, it totally makes sense instead of being study and just waiting for something to come up. It would be better to, spend your time to learn something. Even if it's getting automated, you have a idea of how it started and the foundational knowledge. So it totally makes sense to, go for it.
Thanks, Salman.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like what I tell my students about AI. Yes, you can use AI to help you write, but until you understand how to do it yourself and until you understand the dynamics and why things are phrased a certain way and how we build essays and how we build reports, if you don't understand the underlying mechanics, you have no way to evaluate what AI is doing for you. And so what you are learning is exactly that. You are learning foundations that will help you assess the work that's being done for you by the co-pilot later.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I hope that that's true. Where I still struggle, and even though it's, I can kind of rationalize all the time that I'm spending not getting paid because I'm not, it's still there's still part of me that's like, wow, like what do I actually need to be doing for clients right now? What do I actually need to be doing for my clients? Is it, and I think for me, if we're talking about courses and what my biggest challenges are, I struggle in 2 places. Number one, I struggle with identifying where AI is going to provide the most benefit for my clients. They don't know. They come with an idea and I think they're leaning on me to help them understand how they can really effectively use AI just full stop. And that's a really hard thing because as we know, AI is impacting every level of marketing. And how do we create a framework or a process of being able to take our client, meet them where they are, figure out like what's their infrastructure, what tools, like what are they going to really care about? Like it's almost like they may come in with an idea of what they think they want, but in actuality, they don't really need or want that thing. We have to and how do we get them on board? So that's one struggle I'm having is like taking my client and figuring out exactly what I need to build for them in terms of being an AI consultant. Um, and then the second place I'm having trouble is, yeah, like, okay, let's say we do decide that they want an agentic workflow that's going to create their newsletter every week. Okay, cool. Then it's like building that in a way that is going to work 6 months from now. And that's the other thing because we have to build in maintenance for whatever tools that we're creating or building for them. I mean, I don't know if anybody follows, so Natalie Lambert, who is a pal of mine, and some of you guys I think know of her, and I took her course back when she first launched her courses. She was teaching how to create custom GPTs. I don't know if anybody, so that was her big course. Like we're going to create a group of custom GPTs, and these are going to be all of your assistants. Well, fast forward now that all of that is like table stakes slash almost completely outdated to where now we've got like a whole different, and she's pivoted and she's teaching something different. She's teaching how to make workflows now, like everyone says that we're supposed to be doing, which is awesome. But at the same time, it's like, these custom GPTs that she built for her clients, not really more like only a year ago, not even that long ago, are now completely deprecated, and now she has to pivot and give her clients something totally different. So how do we build sustainable products for our clients? I think that it's not just delivering a thing anymore. It's an ongoing. I think we have to be thinking about this. This is an ongoing service. We are going to be ongoing resource to build the tools, rebuild the tools, iterate the tools, refresh the tools. Like it just has to be continual. And how do you charge for that? And do I want my client to have to rely on me that way? No. As a consultant, sometimes you just want to be a one and done, It's like that was a big pain in the ass about web design back in the day. Like before WordPress, your client had to come to you every time they wanted to change a single thing. And how much of pain, remember? Like, oh, I need you to change this word. And it's like, oh my gosh, really? Like, you've got 10 website clients, all of them wanting to change copy, and they all had to only, it was a bottleneck. It wasn't sustainable with a team of one. And I see that becoming an issue. If you have a portfolio of AI clients that all of a sudden are trying to rely on you for all of these changes and model updates and updating this and that, like you're not gonna be able to sustain doing that either. So I'm trying to figure out like what do we do? I mean, the one very quick example I have of the project that I think, knock wood, I'm probably completely jinxing myself by even saying this, that so far seems to be somewhat successful. I haven't delivered the goods yet, so cross your fingers for me. It was a pretty simple, I need a series of infographics. My designer would want $10,000 and would take at least 4 weeks. I don't have that. I've got a week and I've got 2,000. What can you do with AI? Kind of a moment. I'm like, cool, I can do that. It's going to take me a fraction of the time. And anyway, so that right now, and again, that life cycle of why I'm more competitive than her designer is probably a short window, but it seems to work. I'm bringing in my AI expertise. I've used my SOW Builder. I'm showing all the places where I'm bringing in my AI knowledge, and we're building the strategy, and we're concepting, and blah, blah, blah. So it's not just like, oh, I created 3 infographics on Nano Banana and it took me 30 minutes, and right, it can't be that. That seems to work for this client anyway. Anybody else have, it's a hard spot, I think that we're all in, and being able to chat about it and with folks that are also struggling with it is really, really helpful.
I actually love everything you're saying. And again, having been a consultant for a long time, I'd love to talk if you want one-on-one, or we could make that a topic for another one of these group things. And sometimes the answer is build a team, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be even a full-time team. I mean, you've got people right here who could probably support you in some of these projects on a 1099 basis. So,
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
these
no,
things to think about.
exactly, Ellen. And I mean, that suggestion reminds me of back, I don't know, back in the social media era, and like Hollis, who's here, and SJ, Susie, Jeanette, who's a dear friend of mine who runs her own agency. We were going through this back where it's like, oh, I could be a team of one being a social media consultant for, again, it wasn't sustainable. So all of a sudden now we're creating agencies and teams to do exactly that, Ellen, because the work scaled to the point where all of a sudden now we are hiring. And to be honest with you, I don't want to do that. I don't want to manage people. I don't like, I just know that that's not, with my full-time gig at the UO, and like, I just don't, that's not the route I want to go. That might be a perfect route. I know Kimberly, she like runs, has a kind of so there are folks that love that. And then there are folks that maybe that doesn't work for, but if you want to remain a standalone consultant and maybe not outsource or have a team, I'm not sure, what that road looks like, but I think we're all just learning and trying to figure it out together. Anybody else want to share anything? Any successes? How about successes? Anything, any roses to share? Yeah, exactly. Jess says, great irony, needing a team to focus on automation and AI. Exactly, Jess. It's creating more work, not less.
Okay, that's an arguable point, but that's not
Oh,
necessarily where
boy.
you gotta want to spend the next 9 minutes. But I have a pretty, I'm working on a very deep tech project with a client. I'm a product management consultant, and I do have to generate a lot of content, partly for my own learning and partly for results for the client. And I've been really excited about results I've been getting lately versus results maybe I was getting 6 months ago using ChatGPT. Even something simple, I did. We were looking at three different possible solutions, and I just, asked ChatGPT to give me a comparison chart on those three different solutions. And then I checked it. I didn't just say, okay, this is gospel. I went and I did some quick checks on the websites for those three different solutions. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. And it took me, half an hour versus days and days and frustration. But so I feel really good about that. I feel really good about the different ways. I also did a presentation, a pretty, again, in-depth presentation where I got a lot of support from ChatGPT. Again, that's kind of my go-to tool right now. But and I got really, really, really good responses to the impact of the presentation. And it's on video if anybody wants to have a link to it. But it's about how to move your company from a services company to a product company. So anyhow, lots of
Thanks,
roses.
Ellen, for sharing. Anybody else have anything? Gonna open it up. Ask me anything, say anything.
I'm taking a full-time job.
Mm, Lisa, Oda, what does that look like? Talk me through it. Congratulations.
Yay.
Yeah. What does it look like? So, I went in to take a consulting gig at 5 hours a week, and 6 weeks later, they said, "Hey, we want you to do this. We need more of your time." And I would say that like the what threw it over the edge was definitely the AI piece. But yeah, they didn't make me interview with anyone. They posted the job rec for 5 days, and then took it down really quickly. It's like 10 minutes from my house, and I only have to go in twice a month. So,
Oh
um,
my gosh, that
yeah,
sounds amazing.
yeah, so it was an example where they reverse engineered. They took my LinkedIn and then just wrote the job description, so it was almost a perfect match. And then yeah, and then they were like totally into the AI thing. So that is my rose for the day.
What's your job function and title? What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be doing integrated marketing. So basically herding cats, but at the director level. So it will, I'm hoping my goal is to not actually do the work, but to tell people how to do the work. But we'll see if that actually ends up being the case. That's my pipe dream.
Awesome, Lisa. Well, congratulations, Lisa. I love that's a beautiful, beautiful success and win, and
Well,
so
it's
thrilled.
definitely coming on the heels of all the AI work. So I will tell you that a lot of the key learnings that I had, I translated into that contract. And the way that I made things work was because of the AI and the learnings from this. So I don't think that I would have been able to kind of expedite that in such a short order without that. Because I'd like to think that I'm smart, but I think AI really made me smarter and made me better at what I do.
Oh, good. Awesome, Lisa. Yay. You're getting a lot of love in
Like I got
chat.
a question for everybody that what's gonna be the like what are your thoughts basically on the performance marketing? Because especially with these tools with the Meta, Google, everything's getting automated, right? So what's gonna be the actually a work of a performance marketer in upcoming? So what are your thoughts, everybody? Anything?
Performance marketing in the age of AI, Salman, is that it? Good.
Yeah.
Did I, and I sort of missed the beginning part of that question. Were you kind of what specific part of demand marketing are we? I mean, because that's kind of a broad.
I'm just asking for your thoughts, like what it's going to be like in case of the AI era, because everything's getting automated. So what's your job going to be really like in case of
Well,
performance marketing?
okay, I think understand the gist. So, I would argue. So, first of all, I would say for not everything is being automated. If you read my newsletter, we still are having some issues automating and integrating some things. I think that there are pieces of the demand gen, uh, you know, performance marketing, or whatever you want to call it, job that are being automated, absolutely. But I think that they're standalone tasks, at least from my experience, rather than one whole integrated, here's your demand gen marketing director in a box that is going to get you millions of dollars. Like that doesn't work. At least in my experience today. Does anybody else have other experiences where that they are seeing a demand, gen marketer in a box, that's AI that's working? So, but to your point, Solomon, there are pieces so my workflow has radically changed. It's really, I'm struck every day. I'm struck by how different my workflow is. I am basically, my workflow now is I have at least, I typically will be, I'll have, whether I'm, if like, let's go with the example of creating the agentic workflow that I'm learning how to do. I will have Claude in one window. I will have the course specific AI professor in another window. I will have Gigawatt, which is the code writing bot assistant, open in another window, and then I'll have Cassie's Copilot in another window. Okay, so I have no less than 4 different tools helping me, all going back and forth like this, like a crazy lady, to get me to the output. So very rarely, honestly, am I doing any bespoke anything. It's all really orchestrating these different, I was really struck, it really is about orchestrating these different large language models. Is it automated for me? No, I still am the human in the mix that needs to put this entry here and ask this question there, and take out this there and do this there. But it's kind of boring work. It's like a lot of copy and
Yeah,
pasting. It's not sexy work. You know what I'm saying? Like the funnest
absolutely.
thing I've done all week was doing the bake off. That's like the funnest thing I've done all week, was preparing the deck for this thing. And either we're good with that or we're not. I mean, I don't know. I think I feel like would I do it another way? No, because it's so much faster. And we know time is such a, like would I, but that's just me. I mean, there are discussions about pulling back on using AI for some of these things, right, and making it more bespoke. But I think that that's hard, especially when you are in a role where they're asking you to do the job of 6 different people and you don't have the resources or the time. Like how, you can't blame someone for trying to expedite and use AI in those circumstances. And I think most people in today's, workforce are in that position where they're trying to do so much. There's not enough hours in the day. So if you have a tool that's going to save you 10 hours, you would use it. I don't know. It's a really good question, Salman. Anybody else? I mean, this is my existential dilemma. And this is one of the reasons Billy is coming down to Eugene to help me get through it, is like, how in the hell how am I going to make money? What's my side gig going to be? I mean, I'm very fortunate that I have the university as my benefits and kind of my home anchor, but it doesn't pay the bills what I make from academia. So I have to have a side hustle. What is it going to be that's going to actually be sustainable, enjoyable, valuable for my audience? And I don't know I have no idea what that looks like. I don't know if anybody can relate, but
Yeah. Yes.
right? Yes, thank you, Salman. I get a yes from Salman. I can relate.
I can definitely
Yeah.
relate to higher ed not paying all the bills.
Yeah, right, Chris. I know. Golly, we're saints for what we do. It's hard. And in academia it's hard right now just for a lot of other reasons too.
It is.
Well, you guys, it's been a pleasure. Here's what I'd love to do. I would love to try and have a monthly meetup. I'll send out announcements. Just if you want to, tentatively, I'm thinking for the third Friday of every month. So if you want to just put a temporary hold on your calendar for the third Friday of every month, that's my loose thinking of when I could do it, when my schedule will allow. I am really busy, but I'd love to make time. This has been very valuable for me. It sounds like everybody wants an agentic course. It sounds like a lot of folks want something. So I can't make any promises there, but I appreciate the input. If you think of other resources that you need or want, just please let me know. Like, give me feedback, as I'm right in the midst right now of trying to decide what is going to be my next thing. And if you guys
Mhm.
push for a Maven course, maybe it will be a Maven course, where I can kind of take what I'm learning and try and distill it down into something that's more digestible for content marketers, because what I'm learning right now is not digestible for content marketers. It's not. So there'd be a lot of reworking that I would need to do. All right, well, everybody, it's been a pleasure. You guys know where to find me if you need me. So good to see all of you. Have a
Thank
beautiful,
you.
beautiful weekend. Thanks, Kim. Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thanks, Casey. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. And I'll see you all hopefully next month, if not
Take
sooner.
care. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks,
Have a great
Hollis.
day.
Thank you,
Hollis,
Lisa.
Bye,
It
send
was
my
everyone.
love,
wonderful.
send my love to Susie Hollis, will you? Please tell her that I give her a big hug.
Will do.
Okay. All
Sure.
right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you.